Welcome to Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm your host, Chella, touching base weekly regarding reforms in economics, your Middle East, entertainment news. According to Mwanzi News, the U.S. Department of Defense announced that it will send 3,000 additional troops on a temporary mission to Afghanistan to help secure the withdrawal of members of the U.S. diplomatic mission from the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said that the first batch of troops will arrive within 24 to 48 hours, noting that the U.S. military will transfer embassy staff to Kabul airport by air. The spokesman added that the United States will transfer 1,000 individuals to Qatar to be there to review immigrant visa applications for Afghans wishing to leave their country for fear of reprisal from the Taliban from assistance to Washington during the American presence in Afghanistan. Shafak News, the White House announced that the U.S. government has sent more than 500 doses of the corona vaccine to Iraq, and they will arrive in Baghdad on Saturday. The U.S. officials at the White House said Washington intends to provide Iraq with 503,100 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine within the framework of the global COVAX program for sharing vaccines. Last week, the United States allocated more than 110 million doses of corona vaccine to be donated within the framework of the aforementioned international project, in addition to $2 billion in donated to the COVAX program. The U.S. government said it will purchase 500 million doses of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for distribution to African Union countries and 92 middle and low-income countries. Also, according to Shafak News, a security source on Thursday evening reported an explosive device exploded on the convoy of the international coalition south of Iraqi capital Baghdad. The sources told Shafak News agency an exploded device planted by the unknown persons exploded while a column of trucks carried logistical support for international coalition was passing on an international highway near Alwa al-Makdar in south of Baghdad. The sources added that the explosives caused material damage but no casualties. This is the second attack of its kind within a few hours after a similar attack took place on the highway near Babel without causing damage or casualties. The attacks have been repeated in Iraq for many months. Washington, which leads the international coalition, accused Iraqis fractions close to Tehran of being behind them. Looking back at Mwanzi News, Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi discussed on Thursday with Parliament Speaker Mohammed al-Halbousi unifying efforts between the executive and legislative authorities. The media office of the Prime Minister said in a statement received by Mwanzi News that Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi received Parliament Speaker Mohammed al-Halbousi, and during the meeting they discussed developments in the country and unified efforts between the executive and legislative authorities to ensure that what was served the citizens. He added that the meeting also dealt with the decisions of election files and the importance of creating a necessary atmosphere to hold them, as well as discussing the files of service and reconstruction in the region of Iraq and taking measures in addressing the affairs of the citizens in the liberated cities. Baghdad Economy News reports the Arab Monetary Fund issued the 13th issue of the monthly bulletin of Arab capital markets, which is a concern with monitoring developments in Arab financial markets. Based on the Arab Monetary Fund database of Arab financial markets and the data of Arab stock exchanges. The bulletin, which was followed by Economy News, stated that the Arab Monetary Fund Composite Index of Arab capital markets ended last July transactions up by 0.05% compared to June 21 to reach about 469.58 points. The performance indicator of the stock exchange of Iraq, Tunisia, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Damascus, and Qatar recorded an increase of less than 1%. As for the levels of trading values, the stock exchange of Muscat, Bahrain, Damascus, and Iraq recorded the highest rates of decline in the value of trading during the past month, with rates ranging between 52.74 and 93.51%. The trading value in the Arab Stock Exchange decreased by 79.2%, as all stock exchange witnessed a decrease in their trading values, led by the Iraq's and Damascus Stock Exchange. Baghdad People Naz News reports on Thursday the U.S. Embassy affirmed the United States' commitment to democracy and the rule of law in Iraq, and the embassy stated in a statement that Naz received a copy of on August 12, 2021, that the U.S. Ambassador to Iraq, Matthew Chella, met today with former Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki to discuss the results of the last session of the U.S.-Iraq Strategic Dialogue. Ambassador Chella stressed the importance of the strategic framework agreement signed between the two countries in 2008 as a basis for the strong bilateral relations based on broad common interests, as well as his affirmation of the strong commitment of the United States of America to democracy and the rule of law in Iraq. The ambassador pledged to provide the United States support for Iraq to hold transparent and fair elections as scheduled on October 10th, by providing the necessities, funding, and technical assistance to the United Nations mission, UNAMI, which is UNAMI, and the Independent High Electoral Commissions. The statement pointed out that the United States hopes for a wide participation in the early, free, and fair elections that reflect the will of the Iraqi people. We heard a lot of juicy gossip lately regarding many currencies that may or may not be revaluing. Many people are prepared and awaiting patiently. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Newsroom Weekly Review, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news. I'm here every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you subscribe now, you will get my early release times. I'd like to thank my subscribers for all their time and shares here on this platform. I'll be here next week, so thank you so much again, and take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith, Entertainment News. And don't forget us on Sundays for What's Cooking in the Kitchen. You can also find us behind the scenes 24/7 on Snapchat.